All right, we have made it. It is Wednesday, December the 20th. What are we, 5 days away from Christmas? What is this? It's the end of the year already. You're listening to the Scoreboard here on WSIC 1059, 100.7 FM. And as always, streaming the video live to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, WSICnews.com, our website, basically worldwide. You can get us wherever you please. We're here. Oh, it is Wednesday, and you know how it is on Wednesdays. We don't have too much going on in terms of major news in the national sports leagues. There's a few things here and there which we will get to, but it has been a semi-slow day for the most part. We had John Morant make his return in the NBA last night. We spoke about that a little bit yesterday and why that's pretty significant for the Grizzlies. And immediately he came in and made an impact. We will have that for you, as well as the Carolina Hurricanes, who looked pretty good last night. I don't have too much to complain about. And that seems like a first. Yeah, it does seem like a first. But they played good. They got the win in convincing fashion. And we'll talk about that game as well. Also preview a little bit of Thursday night football. And we got to start looking ahead into the week that we're not going to be here on WSIC in between Christmas and New Year's. There's a lot of sports that go on during that week. The sports world doesn't stop. So we got to at least begin. I know it's Wednesday, but we do have to start talking about what to look for in the future next week, week after, and then we're back. Let's see, January 2nd is when we're back. So we'll have everything to recap for you, national championship game and whatnot. Close to the playoffs in the NBA, in the NFL by then. A lot of teams are probably going to be eliminated. So let's start, as we always do, with our local sport update, that being our high school basketball teams. We have been highlighting the basketball teams here in the first part of the show since the season started, really. And the playoffs aren't until late February. So we do have a lot of time before we get to, I think it's the 27th of February is when the official first round is. We'll have the brackets before that, but then round one starts on the 27th. We're going to let you know who's doing good, who's doing bad, and what to look out for today and tomorrow and what happened last night, starting with Mooresville High School, as we always start closer to the Lake Norman area. They didn't have a game last night or today or tomorrow. They play on the road at Huff High School on Friday at 7:30. I'm sorry, I'm reading the wrong schedule. This is Statesville High School. We're going to start with Statesville High School today because that's what was up on my screen. They play the 22nd at 7:30 at Huff High School in Statesville. We've been talking about the slow schedule that they've had to start, and, you know, it's not looking great. Huff High School is a good basketball team this year. Not a terrible start by any of the imagination, but not the best. They've been in competitive games. They're just not getting the wins. It's a weird thing when you have a competitive basketball team, but the wins aren't falling. When you look at it on the surface, Huff High School 1-8, not great, but they have a lot of games where they could have made that a different outcome or another score or two, and things are closer. So we'll hope that Statesville can right the ship here as they move through the season. Moving right along to Mooresville, starting the year 6-3. Pretty decent start to the year, but could be better. They played yesterday against South Mech at home, and man, was this one a nail biter. It was a nail biter. Unfortunately, Mooresville did drop this game, losing to South Mech 90-89. But the game did go to overtime, and Mooresville was right there in it. So a decent way to end their 2023, kind of. I mean, ideally want to go off with a win. But being in a competitive game against a team like South Mecklenburg, who is undefeated to start the year, it's a little bit of a boost for them. Their next game isn't until the tournament starts. We highlighted the tournament that they're in. That's going to be next week, the 27th. And then on the 5th, the regular season will restart. Lake Norman High School, they're also undefeated to start the year, just like South Mech. 9-0. Their next game is tomorrow. They'll be at home at 4:30 against Carmel Christian. This game is part of a tournament, so it's not really a regular season game. It is a tournament game. Moving right along to the other Iredell Statesville schools, West Iredell with a tough start to their year, 1-5, and I've been saying it. They had a really tough start, but it is a very long season, and who knows, 2-3 weeks could be all they need to turn the season around. They have a chance to start that turnaround tonight as they start conference play on the road at St. Stephen's at 7:30. That game is tonight, and St. Stephen's in division conference game, 4-3 to start the year, so a little bit better than what West Iredell is to start, as they're only 1-5, but not a barn burner of a team. So that should be a pretty competitive conference game. North Iredell also will be in action tonight. They also have a division conference game against Ford High School. 7:30, that one is at home. North Iredell 2-5 to start the year. Their 2 wins this year have come against South Iredell, and that's it. They've lost every other game so far, and only a couple of them where the score was relatively close. So looking to turn things around and get back into the win column. And as we talked about South Iredell dropping both of those games to North Iredell earlier in the year, they've dropped a lot of other games. They are currently on a 6-game losing streak. They start the year 1-8. Their next game is not until the 28th against Wilkes Central, part of the Holiday Classic at North Iredell tournament. That is your local basketball scene for now. A couple of games tonight, couple tomorrow, and then as we head into the winter break for schools, they're not really playing regular season games. They're in these invitational tournament games that are really a good way to, grow team chemistry and look towards restarting the regular season and getting things going. So we'll continue to cover that. We will talk about the tournaments when we come back in January, but those will be done and wrapped up while we're gone. Stay tuned here, though, because we have a lot of show left for you. You're listening to the Scoreboard on WSIC 105.9, 100.7 FM. We got to take a break, but we'll be back after this.
Keep it right here. There's more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on the way from the new 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. From December 24th through January 1st, WSIC will be playing Christmas music all day. And we can't forget about the last few Panthers games of the season. See you in 2024. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and cheers to the new year from all of us at WSIC. Celebrate Kane Center for the Arts' first anniversary gala, along with Broadway star Mandy Gonzalez. Dinner and a show, January 6th at Kane Center for the Arts. You may remember Mandy Gonzalez from her roles in Hamilton and Wicked. This is a black tie optional celebration. All-inclusive tickets include dinner and the show. Happy anniversary, Kane Center. Visit kanearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. Want to see more than 5 million Christmas lights at one time? Speedway Christmas is back. Happening daily, the amazing Speedway Christmas at Charlotte Motor Speedway is happening now through January 7th. The show is open 6 to 10 p.m., rain or shine. The infield Christmas Village is open Thursday through Sunday nights. Speedway Christmas at Charlotte Motor Speedway, now through January 7th. For tickets, visit charlottemotorspeedway.com. Santa is here! Schedule your time to take pictures between now and Christmas Eve in Birkdale. Appointments include time with Santa and 8 digital images from the professional photographer. For more info and to schedule your time with Santa, visit birkdalevillage.com. Have an event you would like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
And now for a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. Heading through the evening and into the overnight hours, we'll have mostly clear skies. Low temperature again is going to be below freezing. We're down at 26 degrees tonight. Tomorrow's going to be another sunny day. High temperature will be above 50 degrees. We're going to be up near 55 come the afternoon. This has been your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center.
Folks, you know Randy Marion sells vehicles the King of Price way, but did you know our service department? We service vehicles the King of Price way. We sell tires, we sell brakes, we sell batteries, we sell the maintenance. We help you keep your vehicle on the road safe, ready to drive, whatever the season is. Randy Marion service departments have you covered. Come see us today because, folks, again, you know we sell the King of Price way and we do service the King of Price way.
King of Price, RandyMarionStatesville.com.
Wishing you a happy Hanukkah, a Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year. WSIC.
The Scoreboard with Joe Berg continues now on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
We are back, segment number 2 here today on the Scoreboard. WSIC 105.9, 100.7 FM. It's an interesting week, honestly, because we're coming off of a Sunday where the Panthers get their second win of the year. And that's well and great and awesome and fine, and we have no problem with that. But it just doesn't feel like they got a win. You know what I mean? Like, it was such an ugly game. The rain, the inability for both offenses to put the ball in the end zone. It was a tough game. And the fact that they came out victorious, you know, it's honestly a little bit shocking. But for interim head coach Chris Tabor, it's got to be great. It's got to be a great feeling. He gets his first career win as a head coach. Some Panther news for you. We talked about this at the beginning of the year, but the Panthers, this from earlier today, from late yesterday, actually, the Panthers decided to part ways with veteran outside linebacker Justin Houston. He's 38 years old. He's been on injured reserve with a hamstring since the Week 8 win over the Texans, and he actually asked for the release. So the Panthers granting that, released him. He's now free to sign elsewhere. Not the biggest loss in the world, honestly. I mean, the team's not going anywhere, and Justin Houston at 34 years old is not really what we would call part of the future of the Panthers. So, you know, even though we didn't get anything for him, it's like, okay, you know what, just go find somewhere else to play. Go chase a ring or whatever he's going to decide to do. I'm harboring no ill feelings here. It's just like, okay, you know, you can go. That's fine, not a problem. So the Panthers sit currently at, well, they're actually at 2 right now. They have 2 wins. What? Yeah. Panthers sit with 2 wins on the season. I know. I'm just as shocked as everybody else. Next week, they take on the 6-8 Green Bay Packers at home yet again. So we'll see. Maybe they'll get on a little bit of a win streak here. The problem is they did this a little late, and they've already been eliminated from the playoffs. They can't even make a comeback in the terrible NFC South this year. And boy, that division is just so bad. It just really stinks that in a year where the NFC South is so bad and the division winner might only barely be above 500, it just really stinks to see the Panthers only have 2 wins in their first 14 games of the season. This is a year where even if they were semi-competent, something like the Jets have 4 wins, I'm pretty sure. The Jets are 5-9, excuse me. That is an incompetent team right there. Even if the Panthers were sitting at 5-9, they'd still be playoff eligible. I mean, number one. But number two, the offense would look good because you got to have a good offense to have, 5 wins. But they've just been so bad this year. They haven't even been able to sneak by a win or two. And the 2 wins that they got on game-winning drives, great, glad that we can have it. But there's a few other games where the defense played well enough, the offense just looked terrible. And I don't know, maybe when we have a new head coach next year, things will be different. Things can be changed. But as we move on with this year, we have to deal with a bad offense and, just hoping that the end of the season comes soon because we can't even root for the tank. Everybody who is an NFL fan understands that when your team is bad after a certain point, you just want them to keep losing. Just keep losing. We're not going to make the playoffs. Go get a better draft pick, get somebody really good. Not only is it the first round that you're worried about, there's really good players in round 2. There's really good players in round 3, round 4. You can find people in 5, 6, 7. The worse you are, the better the draft pick in those rounds are. Problem is, the Panthers don't have their first overall pick this year. Their first round pick, which currently would be the number 1 overall pick. It's upsetting. But they do have their second round pick this year. Next year, they don't. So they'll have the first pick of round number 2. And who knows, maybe if they have somebody they really like, they might try to trade up into the first round because there is a little bit of a difference between a first round draft pick and a second round draft pick. Not only is the money a lot different, but as a first round draft pick, the team has the choice to give you a 5th year on that contract. Whereas if you're a second or later round pick, you only get your contract. There is no additional year that could be added on at the team's discretion. No. So who knows? Maybe if the Panthers want to hold on to somebody for 5 years, somebody that they really like, it's not going to be a quarterback. It'll probably be a wide receiver. We could see that move being made. But they will still have the first pick of the other rounds, which, it's cool. So you can kind of root for them to lose. The Patriots and the Cardinals right now are 1 game ahead of the Panthers, and I'm not too familiar with the tiebreakers on those teams just because they're not in division. I mean, New England's AFC. Strength of schedule is a little different, so it probably has something to do with that. But I would be rooting for the Panthers to win 1, 2 more games down the stretch for multiple reasons. And this has kind of turned into our de facto Panther Talk segment here, segment number 2 of the show. I wasn't even going to plan to do this, but it just kind of evolved into it. You want to get these 2 wins for a few reasons. Number 1, it would be incredibly embarrassing for the Panthers to have the number 1 overall pick, but that pick's rights belongs to the Chicago Bears. That is an embarrassment, and the Panthers should be trying to avoid that. Number 2, if they're able to win 2 of their last 3 games, better development for Bryce Young. He's going to learn how to win NFL games, and I'm really hoping he can learn how to win a game by throwing some touchdown passes, not driving down into field goal range and settling for a field goal. But we'll see. So the Panthers have the Green Bay Packers coming up next week. And then following that, They have a couple of division games, so it's going to be an interesting end to the season. On the road also to end the season at Jacksonville there next week. That's going to be a tough game. And then at home against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who I still think is going to win the division. And, the next two games are probably the Panthers' best chance at a win. I don't think they're going to beat the Buccaneers. The Jaguars are kind of in a weird state right now, and the Packers, look, Jordan Love, I don't know what happened. He looked bad to start the year. Then all of a sudden he looked like somebody who could be a franchise quarterback, and then all of a sudden he stopped looking good. So I don't know. Who knows what's up with Jordan Love, but he sat for a few years behind Rodgers, so the formula that Green Bay has and all of that. We'll get to that later. We might get to that a different day. We're going to move on from the Panthers. There's really not too much to go over with them. They're a team in free fall right now, so we just got to wait for the season to end, and hopefully we'll be able to come out next year a better team, a more improved team. And Bryce Young's development, we just really have to hope that it hasn't been destroyed. Let's take a look at Trevor Lawrence. Year number 1 basically didn't exist for him. It didn't. The team was horribly run. Urban Meyer was a terrible NFL coach. And I personally believe that the development of Trevor Lawrence was stunted because of that year. We're still waiting for Trevor Lawrence to be Trevor Lawrence. He was the next guy. He was the next Andrew Luck. He was going to be it. We're still waiting for it. It hasn't come yet. I don't know if it's going to come at this point. He could just be a above average quarterback, which is fine. But the point that I'm making here is that first year was so bad and there was so much turmoil that he had to deal with. He was the adult in the room that year. He was. It's a little bit of a different situation here in Carolina. We don't have a coach who's going out to bars after a game, But it's kind of the same. Year number 1, basically a wash. Didn't look good. You just have to get somebody in next year who knows what they're doing, who knows how to develop a quarterback, and then start the rebuild. It's going to be another couple of years before this team is competitive. They have been destroyed to the bone right now. And maybe if they keep the defense together, they can be a lot more competitive next year. But I wouldn't be looking for that right now. I just wouldn't. I would still, you can't trade Brian Burns in the offseason because his contract expires. Maybe it's a sign him and then trade him type deal. Or you just bring him back because and I say this all the time, you can't let him walk. You can't let him walk. Look at the Angels with Shohei Ohtani. Brian Burns isn't Shohei Ohtani, but you can't let these players walk for nothing. Halfway through the show here today on this Wednesday, halfway through the week at this point, you're listening to the Scoreboard here on WSIC 105.9, 100.7 FM. We are back right after this.
More of The Scoreboard with Joe Berg is coming up on the new 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Senator Tom Tillis is harnessing the power of clean energy to create a stronger America. Building a clean energy economy will create high-wage American manufacturing jobs and expand opportunities for hardworking families to thrive and prosper. Investing in clean energy innovation will strengthen our electric grid and make it more resilient against natural disasters and foreign hackers. Senator Tom Tillis understands that clean energy is vital to America's economic and national security. To become energy independent, America needs an all-of-the-above energy strategy. Wind, solar, and homegrown biofuels can help break our dependence on foreign energy, create a booming economy, and protect our environment for generations to come. America can lead the world in clean energy innovation. Call 202-224-3121. Thanks thanks Senator Tom Tillis for building America's clean energy economy. Paid for by Americans for a Balanced Budget.
And now for a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. Heading through the evening and into the overnight hours, we'll have mostly clear skies. Low temperature again is going to be below freezing. We're down at 26 degrees tonight. Tomorrow's going to be another sunny day. High temperature will be above 50 degrees. We're going to be up near 55 come the afternoon. This has been your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center.
Get into Randy Marion Chevrolet in Statesville.
It is hard to believe it is December, but we at Randy Marion Chevrolet in Statesville, we are ready for the year-end. Year-end savings are all around. We have got 2023 Chevrolet Equinoxes discounted up to $5,000. In stock, ready for delivery. Also, the new Colorado's in stock, ready for Santa's sleigh. Come see them today. Randy Marion Chevrolet right here in Statesville, I-40.
King of Price, RandyMarionStatesville.com.
Looking for a great way to say thank you to your employees, connect with your customers, or send a holiday gift? Black Powder Coffee can customize a coffee and tea basket or box for you. And don't miss out on Black Powder Coffee's Holiday Blend. A smooth flavor profile with a bright beginning, buttery caramel, and baked chocolate finish. Black Powder Coffee, 261 Rolling Hill Road, or online at blackpowdercoffee.com.
In life, we plan for many important things. Weddings, our children's education, retirement. A celebration of life is really no different. Planning and paying for your life celebration in advance will give you and your family valuable peace of mind. We'll help you take care of every detail with professionalism and compassion. We're Bunch Johnson Funeral Home. Find us at dignitymemorial.com.
While the Panthers' passing attack did not put up big numbers in their win last Sunday, they did make the plays when needed to get the victory, and now they'll look to build upon the late-game performance versus Green Bay coming up on Sunday. I'm Jim Zoki with a Panthers update after this.
The only way to be your best self is with your best health. When you have a health partner who doesn't just treat part of you, they care for all of you. That's why more people prefer Atrium Health, because unrivaled care is easier, more accessible, and more complete than ever before, so that you can enjoy more of the moments you love. That's what it means to live meaningfully, to live joyfully, to live fully with Atrium Health.
Final total was just 167 yards passing for rookie quarterback Bryce Young versus Atlanta, but when the game was on the line, he completed 5 out of 5 passes, threw for 68 yards on the final 17-play drive to lead Carolina to the game-winning points versus the Falcons. Now he wants to see what more they can get out of the final 3 games of the season.
Again, I think it's something for us to build off of. We need to win every week. There's no week that we need one more than the other, and throughout all this, again, we never lose faith, never lose confidence, never lose trust in each other. There's no loss of fight. So again, obviously it's great. They're hard to come by, and they mean a lot. So we gotta enjoy it and then file it away and then take what we can from it and improve.
In addition to Young, the pass blocking has shown improvement, and Coach Chris Tabor says receivers like Jonathan Mingo and DJ Chark stepped up as they look for more production beyond just Adam Thielen at wide receiver.
Those weren't easy catches out there. And I was really proud of our guys really concentrating and making those plays. There were plays that needed to be made, and they made the plays. So you can say, hey, did they take a step? And based off of that game, I'm going to say they are. So now next week, that's the standard, and now can we move it forward and push it forward?
I'm Jim Zoki on the Carolina Panthers Radio Network, presented by Morris Jenkins.
Talk sports with Joe Berg. Call 844-STUDIO-4. It's the Scoreboard on the new 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
All right, we are back. It is segment number 3 already. We are halfway done with the show. Whoo, boy. We'll try to get through what we can today. 704-873-1400. You can give me a call if you like. That's my phone number right here at WSIC, talking all things sports. We're going to move into kind of a dual segment here. We're going to get as much NBA as we can in before we move to the NHL, talk hockey, talk Hurricanes, because there is some things that we need to discuss as far as how good / how bad the Carolina Hurricanes team is. And I'm not going to tell you which one I think they are. But you will be able to figure it out after we have our nice little discussion. So the biggest story in the NBA last night, surprisingly, had nothing to do with the Hornets. I know, that was funny. That was funny. I'm funny. I try. It had to do with the Memphis Grizzlies. And you might be thinking, what? Joe, what? The Grizzlies? I'm looking at the NBA standings right now, and the Grizzlies are 7-19. Why would they have the biggest story in the NBA? Well, their superstar returned. Cue the music and the Jaws theme song, I guess, if you want to. Whatever kind of creepy music you'd like to say for the return. I don't know. Maybe we got some Undertaker music or something for Ja Morant, because Ja Morant comes back to the Grizzlies and immediately makes an impact. What a game. What a game it was. And the final score, 115-113. The Grizzlies come out on top after a buzzer beater last second layup by Ja Morant. He wins the game and in his debut scores 34 points. Now, I heard a stat today, and this is like a whatever stat. Like, okay, cool, that's funny. Ha ha ha. 34 points. The most ever by an NBA player after they missed 25 or more games. How about that? Ja Morant coming off his suspension, first appearance of the year, and immediately drops 34 and a buzzer beater. You look at the NBA standings after hearing that and you think, does Memphis have enough time? And the answer is yes, there is enough time, but do they have enough team to get back into the wild card or the play-in, if you will, in the NBA? That one I'm going to say no. I just don't think the team has the talent. I really don't. If you went 6-19 without your star player, what makes you think one person is going to change that around? It won't. And they played the Pelicans, okay? Now, that's not the worst team in the world to play, but the Pelicans, they haven't really done much as of late. They're not a team that gets people riled up, you know? And as of right now, the Pelicans actually have a winning record. So it was a good quality win, but it's just the fact that you win 6 games out of 25 without him. That's it. Only 6. And now you're hearing, Ja Morant's going to lead the Grizzlies back into the playoffs. It's a pipe dream. It is. There is a long way to go, but 25 games done out of 82, and you're still about 7 games out of that final spot in the play-in tournament. It's going to be tough. I wish the Hornets had a injured player like that. Now, we do have LaMelo Ball, but I promise you this, he is not Ja Morant. He is not even half of Ja Morant at this point in his career. Maybe he develops some more and becomes a superstar, a player who, when he comes back onto the court, makes a difference. And people will argue with this and say, he makes a difference. LaMelo Ball's not that bad. And to that, I'd say, what was their record last year when they had him? Not great. He didn't turn the team around. Ja Morant has taken the Grizzlies to the playoffs single-handedly. Maybe one day we'll get a player in Carolina who can, help us out in that sense. Because right now, they don't have it. And the Carolina, I just lost my train of thought there. The Hornets, the Charlotte Hornets, we're back on track. Can you tell it's been a long day? Yeah. So the Hornets do have a game tonight. We'll see what happens, but they're not looking good to start the year. And we can't even say start the year anymore. We're well into the year. We're 25 games in. And right now, the Charlotte Hornets sit at 7-18. Tonight, they're on the road. They take on the in-season tournament runner-up, Indiana Pacers. Speaking of in-season tournament, did we see banner night for the Lakers? They raised the in-season tournament banner. It was unveiled. Oh, what a sight it was. Not really. It really wasn't. I know, they raised a banner. It's supposed to be this huge thing. I feel like they didn't want to raise that banner, honestly. There's no history with the in-season tournament right now. And I've told you time and time again that the reason they did this in-season tournament was two reasons. Number one, to get interest in the NBA before the new year, before Christmas. And number two, they wanted some competitive basketball. They wanted people to care about something. Well, maybe they played hard, but they definitely don't care about raising a banner for the in-season tournament. This isn't soccer. And this is what this has been created and kind of took the soccer tournaments like the Copa America and whatever other Premier League and the English Cup and whatever they have that I'm not very familiar with, okay? The Leagues Cup. We could take the Leagues Cup around here. That's like an in-season tournament right there. Well, they took it from soccer, specifically European soccer. The problem is the in-season tournament doesn't have a 100-year history of a tournament. It has a 1-year history of being a tournament. So there really isn't that much celebration. There was no parade. There's no... I mean, I guess there was a celebration on court and in the locker room, but it's not an NBA championship. And I don't know. The great debate in sports, and this is basketball, this is hockey, this is football, this is baseball, very, very much baseball, is why do we have all these different gimmicks? You have an in-season tournament, you have a regular season, you have a playoffs, and then you have the finals. The great argument is, why isn't it just the best teams in the regular season? Isn't that how it's supposed to be? Why do you even play a regular season if it's not going to be the best team in that regular season? And this is something that comes from baseball, but you can apply it to basketball because, man, it is very prevalent in basketball. The season's long. The players don't want to play. Why are we doing it? Why are we having a playoff like that where nobody cares about the regular season? You want to get players to care about the regular season? Get rid of the play-in tournament. Only a few teams should make the playoffs. And every other league is the same. I'm not singling out the NBA for any reason. I'm just saying they are the ones right now who have a problem with players playing every game in the regular season. If you make the regular season a little more important, maybe the players will play, and then maybe the people will tune in. We're going to head to a break here. I'm done talking about the NBA, so if you don't like the NBA, congratulations, you survived. When we come back, we're going to talk hockey, wrap things up, and start getting you ready for next week. We'll be right back.
More of The Scoreboard with Joe Berg is coming up on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. From December 24th through January 1st, WSIC will be playing Christmas music all day. And we can't forget about the last few Panthers games of the season. See you in 2024. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and cheers to the new year from all of us at WSIC. Celebrate Kane Center for the Arts' first anniversary gala, along with Broadway star Mandy Gonzalez. Dinner and a show, January 6th at Kane Center for the Arts. You may remember Mandy Gonzalez from her roles in Hamilton and Wicked. This is a black tie optional celebration. All-inclusive tickets include dinner and the show. Happy anniversary, Kane Center. Visit canearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. Want to see more than 5 million Christmas lights at one time? Speedway Christmas is back. Happening daily, the amazing Speedway Christmas at Charlotte Motor Speedway is happening now through January 7th. The show is open 6 to 10 p.m., rain or shine. The infield Christmas Village is open Thursday through Sunday nights. Speedway Christmas at Charlotte Motor Speedway, now through January 7th. For tickets, visit charlottemotorspeedway.com. Santa is here. Schedule your time to take pictures between now and Christmas Eve in Birkdale. Appointments include Time with Santa and 8 digital images from the professional photographer. For more info and to schedule your time with Santa, visit birkdalevillage.com. Have an event you would like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
And now for a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. Heading through the evening and into the overnight hours, we'll have mostly clear skies. Low temperature again is going to be below freezing. We're down at 26 degrees tonight. Tomorrow's going to be another sunny day. High temperature will be above 50 degrees. We're going to be up near 55 come the afternoon. This has been your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center.
New year, new hosts. Starting January 2nd, WSIC will sound a little bit different. Starting with Good Morning LKN, Justin and Bill welcome Mamie Lee, the Mean Queen. Then Home Ad continues to keep the community first as Brian Summers takes over for Pat Shannon. And finally introducing the News Drive at 5, WSIC's All News Hour, hosted by Patrick Reynolds. A new year and a new sound from WSIC. Local starts here. Your home for the holidays. WSIC.
It's the Scoreboard with your host, Sports Director Joe Berg, on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
All right, we're here. Final segment. It is time to get it going. The Scoreboard on WSIC 105.9 100.7 FM. Call me up 704-873-1400. The Carolina Hurricanes played a game last night against the defending NHL Stanley Cup champion Vegas Golden Knights, and a stand-up performance, honestly. A great game as the Hurricanes win that one 6-3. They went perfect. They went perfect 3 for 3 on the power play, including 1 power play goal in the first, 1 in the second, and 1 in the third. Hard to lose when you're perfect in power in the on the special teams. And really, it was a 6-1 game, 6-2 game. The Golden Knights got 2 within the last minute and a half of the game. Okay. Probably had the goalie out, you know. So, the Hurricanes answer a big question. Can they get back on the right track? And they do get back on the right track. They outshot the Golden Knights. Peter Kochetkov looked really good in net as he stops 30 of 33. Where do we go from here if you're the Hurricanes? I don't know if this is a tryout, per se, for Kochetkov to be the number 1 goaltender moving forward. I feel like the plan is for him to eventually be the number 1 goalie, but is he ready yet? We're not really sure. He's still only 24 years of age. We talked about the maturity of goaltenders yesterday and how long it usually takes for one to become an everyday number 1 guy. There are exceptions to the rule. I don't believe Kochetkov is that answer. But he played good last night, which, props to him for playing well, getting the win. Carolina gets a win. But when you look at the standings, this is why winning early matters. Everybody else in front of them won. So with that being said, they get 2 points, but so do the Islanders, so do the Flyers, so do the Rangers. Still sitting 4th in the Metro, 1 point behind the Islanders, 2 behind the Flyers, but they did separate themselves slightly. And I say slightly because this could change as quick as one day, 3-point advantage over the Capitals and Devils, and a 6-point advantage over the Penguins. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is the Carolina Hurricanes have played the most games in the Metro. They have 32 games played. That's points that they're not going to be able to gain. And other teams are going to be able to do it. They're going to be able to continue moving forward with their season, win another game, jump the Hurricanes, and look, it's good to get back on the right track. You got to win, and in dominant fashion against the team that just won the Stanley Cup. Good. Roll with that momentum. Don't slow down. Don't stop, because you need to make some ground in the Metro right now. It's a tough division. 30 games in. It's an 82-game season. It might sound like there's a lot of time left, but there really isn't. So you got to start winning now. Got to put a chip in that gap. And then you can build up some room to have a 2, 3, 4 game streak where you don't play good. But they got to keep going, and they got to do it now. So looking forward for the Hurricanes, they played last night, as the schedule is not, it's unfortunately not loading. They played last night. They're off today, and then they're on the road against the Penguins tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that one. We just talked about the Penguins being behind the Hurricanes in the standings. Big opportunity for them to continue to separate themselves from the rest of the Metro. And then after that, they have the Islanders on Saturday. That's a big one. Islanders are 1 point ahead right now. You get 2 points and they get none. Well, that's a flip-flop right there. So we'll continue to monitor the Hurricanes season, as I still believe that they're a playoff team. I still believe that at the end of the day, when we get through all 82 games, the Hurricanes are going to be a playoff team. It's just a matter of seeding. It's a matter of home ice, which does matter. Remember a few years ago, they had that series against the Rangers where not a single home game was won. The away team won every game. It was weird. And then they had a series in Boston. Same thing. Same thing. So home ice does matter. As we move through the rest of this show, we're going to start to look ahead into this weekend and next week. We're going to begin that conversation. I don't want to save all of it for Friday because then we're just going to cram way too much. So looking ahead at some of these bowl games that we have during that week. Number one, you got to remember the New Year's Five. The New Year's Five are the most important ones. You have the ReliaQuest Bowl. You have the Verbo Fiesta Bowl, the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl, the semifinal at the Rose Bowl, and the semifinal at the Sugar Bowl. These are the five that most people know and most people watch these. They're the important ones, with the last two being the most important: Alabama, Michigan, Texas, Washington. But there's some other good games that you want to keep an eye on. Now, one of them that I don't think other people are going to actually tune into too long because it sounds like it's going to be a blowout is Oregon versus Liberty. Liberty is an interesting team where if this was next year, they would be in the college football playoffs because they are the winners of Conference USA and they are the highest ranked non-Power 5 conference winner. So them taking on Oregon at 1 o'clock in a bowl game is a good test. It's a good meter to see exactly what are the playoffs going to look like next year. Are these non-Power 5 division winners, are they going to put up a fight? Or is it going to be a consolation game where if you're not one of the top 4 teams, you want to be playing that 5th conference champion? And again, we still got to figure out, or 6th conference champion, I'm sorry. And we still got to figure out what they're going to do about the Pac-12 no longer being there. Is it going to be the top 4 and then the next 2 highest ranked non-Power 4 conference winners? There's still a lot to sort out there. So we'll figure it out once we get past this year. Let's get to the championship. The good news is we will be able to preview and talk about the college football national championship because that game is on Monday, January 8th. So we do have the ability to talk about that one. But some of these other, like the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, that's going to be a good game. Ole Miss and Penn State. The Orange Bowl, Georgia and Florida State, that one. And we're still talking about Florida State here. I'm going to try to move past it. I feel bad for Georgia. I do. And I didn't think I did until recently. They also got jobbed here. Everybody's all up in arms with Florida State. You cannot look me in the face and tell me that Georgia is not one of the 4 best college football teams in America. You can't. They played a close game against Alabama, and they get dropped to 6th. 6th. That I have a problem with. Some other bowl games to keep an eye on. The Goodyear Cotton Bowl. That one is Friday, December 29th. Missouri and Ohio State. Ohio State lost their game against Michigan, and that pretty much is the reason that they are not in the college football playoffs, or semifinals, if you will. And then we have the other ones, which are like, they're kind of made up, you know. Apparently, the bowl game, let's see, which one was it? There was one bowl game, and it was the Monday one. Yeah, that's right. It was the Monday game, Western Kentucky and Old Dominion. The famous Toastery Bowl. That was not supposed to be a bowl. It wasn't. Apparently, that was supposed to be the Bahamas Bowl. But the stadium wasn't ready. So the scramble from the NCAA to find somebody to host a bowl game, they found famous Toastery. How about it? I just think that was a funny little story as I started to read up on that one. It's like, wow, this isn't a bowl game. They did make this one up. I'm right. They're just making up bowl games. How about it? Who'd have thought? We'll keep talking about things to look at. We got to get you prepared for the NFL over the break. We got to get you prepared for NHL action, NBA action. Come New Year, we're going to be heavy on getting ready for the Daytona 500. There's a lot of things going on. But thanks for tuning in today. It was great to have you here as always. You're listening to The Scoreboard on WSIC 105.9, 100.7 FM. And as always, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Same time, same place. See you then.